except the seed fall into the ground and die, it cannot live. And so that's a great song. And go to the book of John, chapter number 12, and there's a tremendous message as you and I look at that passage at some time or another. And again, look at that seed and what it means when it falls into the ground and dies. Good to have you this evening. Again, we're glad to have the sojourners who are visiting with us, working at camp in the Gahee. And again, we appreciate the great work which they do. Turn your Bibles to the book of 1 Timothy chapter number 1. The book of 1st, Timothy, Titus. Actually, when you look at these three books, and we're gonna go through all three of them in this kind of a series that I have, and that is 1 Timothy was written, and then Paul spent time in prayer. 2 Timothy was written is a prison, what's called a prison epistle. When you look at Timothy, Timothy was a young man who obeyed the gospel, became a Christian. Paul called him my son in the gospel. When you look at what the impact and the influence, you go to the book of Acts chapter number 20, Paul spent 2.5 years at Ephesus. He leaves Timothy there to do the work. Preachers are told, I don't know, I'm sure that Brother Aaron at Memphis School of Preaching probably heard this many, many times. And that is, preachers need to read 1st and 2nd Timothy and Titus. I remember Brother Johnny Ramsey. Brother Ramsey said every gospel preacher ought to read 1st and 2nd Timothy every week, because actually it lays a groundwork. It gives us a foundation upon which to build our work. Now, actually, this is probably, I've given an introduction. We've looked at these previous 11 verses. We've talked about hope, as Paul mentioned in verse number 1, apostle of Christ by the commandment of God, which is our hope. We looked at what Paul is doing as we look at verses chapter 3, verse 11, but I want you to go to 1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse number